I'm trying again because I just had some technical difficulties on my iPad. I basically recorded this whole video for everybody and there was no sound. So there better be sound now, Facebook. Anyway, welcome. I'm really excited to talk to you tonight about becoming unstoppable. I'm Jen Turnham and I'm the host of Inspired Women. Tonight I'll be sharing the top 3 things that have helped me become unstoppable and some tips to help you overcome or deal more effectively with setbacks and obstacles. And this idea was actually given to me by the ladies, some of the ladies in my Facebook group. So thank you to them, and this one's for you. If you want to join my ladies only Facebook group, then check out the link in the description of this video. So I'm sure you can all relate to the fact that when obstacles or setbacks are put in our path, sometimes our brain goes, wouldn't it just be easier to give up? We feel like giving up, and it's totally understandable. Just think about the last time you had a significant obstacle or setback, particularly if it's along the way to something that you're really excited about, then it can be really, really frustrating. And also, especially if life is going along and it's really cruisy and everything's on track, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's a setback or there's an obstacle. So tonight I'll be sharing some of the tools that I have used that will help you deal more effectively with setbacks and obstacles. So first, a bit of a story about one of the times this has happened to me. As some of you know, about 5 years ago now, I gave up my career to chase my dream to be a singer. Now, I thought naively that life was going to be wonderful all the time because I was chasing my dreams, I was living the dream and turning them into reality, basically. But of course, life wasn't all hunky-dory and smooth sailing all the time. There were setbacks. So the short version of the story is that I worked with a number of guitarists in acoustic duo type situations, and some of them were strange and some of them were downright rude and nasty when I tried to extricate myself from that working relationship because it just wasn't working out. And I finally decided to join the rock band, which became Run for Cover, as their lead singer. And the thing I realised along the way is that we need to accept that setbacks are going to occur, but learning how to deal with them more effectively can really help to lessen their impact on our life, and I suppose lessen the hiccup that we experience when these things are put in our path. So my top 3 tips are as follows. Number 1, think of, well, basically all of us have a GPS system. Now you can think, depends on your beliefs for this one. So for me, I call it the universe. Some people might refer to it as God, source energy, whatever it is that you believe. But that's our GPS system, and it's always recalculating, and it's always looking for shorter, more fun, happier routes to get us to our destination. So what I've learned is the key is not getting too caught up in the how, basically. So I suppose we have this idea in our head that this is where I want to go, and then we decide how we're going to get there. And what I've learned is it's best to just keep focused on where you want to go, so your goal or your dream, whatever it is that you're working towards. So back to my example. So after I'd actually turned my dreams into reality and I was singing in the band and loving every minute of it, by the way, best thing I ever did, I came to realise that the concept of having time freedom was pretty cool, and it's definitely not something I want to give up anytime soon. But I needed a little bit more money. So I set out to have both, and that became my new goal. So I wanted to have, hey Katrina, how you going? Long time no see. Sorry, got a bit distracted there. So I set out to have both, and my new goal was time and financial freedom. And what happened was I got involved in a network marketing business, and I truly believed that I had found the answer to have time and financial freedom. However, what I realised with the benefit of hindsight is that I was too focused on the how. So I believed that this business was how I was going to create financial freedom in my life. So when it became apparent to me, and it took me a while to realise that this business was not the answer, for me anyway, I know it works for a lot of people, but it just wasn't right for me at the time. It took me, I think, a lot longer to be able to let go and realise that my GPS was pointing me in a different direction. And the reason it took me so long to let go is because I was focused on the how, because I believed that this was my how. So I suppose the big learning that I want to share with you from that is I don't focus on the how anymore. I simply focus on the end product. So my goals, my dreams, what I'm trying to achieve, I focus out there, and I trust that my GPS is going to get there. Sometimes in quite what feels like a roundabout way. So sometimes it feels like these obstacles are actually sending you, it's a U-turn, or it's a quick sharp turn left. It's kind of unexpected. But if you can just remember that the universe is going to get you there the best way possible. And sometimes that means a change of course. The second of my tips is to stay focused on what you can control. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in life that's completely out of our control. The key then is to focus on our reactions and our behaviours. Those are the things that we can change. Now this is actually going into a topic that I'm really passionate about, which is internal versus external locus of control. But that's a whole other topic, so I won't go into too much detail here. But basically, in a nutshell, brain science shows us that the only things that we can control are what we think, what we feel, what we say, and what we do. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and if you ever see me talk on internal versus external locus of control, or you want to know more about it, then send me a message. But we can control those things. So if we focus on those, and if we focus on what we can learn from the situation, and things we could maybe do or say differently next time, that's all we can really do in these situations. Something you can do a little bit more internally is to start to become aware and pay attention to the thoughts and the feelings that you're experiencing, and maybe write them down. Because when we're caught up in all the emotion, when the obstacle, we've just learned of the obstacle, or we've just suffered the setback, the emotions can be a little bit too much for us. So write them down, the feelings, the thoughts that are running through your head, and once you've calmed down a little bit, pull the piece of paper out again and see if there might be another perspective that you could take on the situation, or just see it in a different light. So going back to my example, the difficulties I was having finding a guitarist were really frustrating at the time, and there were definitely many moments where I thought maybe this isn't going to work, and I felt like giving up. But what's interesting is it ended up being a blessing in disguise, as setbacks and obstacles quite often are. And it was almost like, looking back, it was meant to be, because the fact that I was struggling to find a guitarist that I really clicked with ended up resulting in me looking for and finding a fabulous band, and I loved every minute of singing with the band much more than I liked the acoustic duos. I still loved that because I was still singing and performing, but the band was just so much fun. So looking back, obviously my GPS was sending me in a different direction. The third and final tip that I have for you is to, as I mentioned earlier, accept that setbacks are going to happen. When they do, feel the frustration, then breathe through it and let it go. So what do I mean by that? Allow yourself to feel the emotions, allow yourself to maybe rant and rave a little, write it down like I talked about before, or find somebody that you trust and say, look, I need to get this off my chest, let me rant and rave for 3 minutes, just listen to me, and then cut me off, and then I'm done. Because you don't obviously want to go on and on and on about it. So once you've got it off your chest, then breathe through it, let it go, and adjust your course, and go, hey, GPS is sending me off in this direction. And I think what you might find is once you've done that, it creates the space for you to actually get a little bit excited about this new direction, because you realise that the universe has actually found a better path for you to follow. So they're my 3 tips. I'll just go through them again in summary. Number 1, remember you have a GPS guiding you all the time. So don't get too caught up in how you're going to get to your destination. Just trust that you will get there and just keep your eye on the prize. Focus on what you can control. So your reaction and how you choose to view the situation. Can you look at it in a different way? Then breathe through it and adjust your course accordingly. And I promise you, good things are coming your way. So thank you for listening. And don't forget, if you haven't already, to join my group, Inspired Women. We talk about this sort of stuff all the time. The link is in the description on this video. Happy Tuesday night. I hope the rest of the week doesn't bring you any setbacks and obstacles, but if it does, then you've got some things to start working on. Take care. See you soon.